So, Thelma, hold on. So don't use any of what I sent. I just been group me. So if I do the show outside the gate, that's public property. So everything inside the gates is embargoed until midnight. So let me pack up and move outside the gate. All right. All right, bye.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Oh, cool. Hey, folks, today is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. I'm live here on the south side of Chicago, where today was Media Day for the Obama Presidential Center, which will be opening to the public on June 19th. And so we can't talk about it. It's all embargoed until after midnight, but we'll be able to have more to share with you tomorrow. Coming up on today's show, the Supreme Court allows Republicans in Alabama to move forward with a congressional map that wipes out a black district. It goes to show you how they are completely ignoring their own rulings just a few months ago. We're going to talk with a couple of plaintiffs in that case. We'll get an update on the Karmelo Anthony trial out of Dallas. We'll also talk about black farmers who are filing suit against the federal government. And we remember the great Peebo Bryson. We'll hear from Regina Bell, Gerald Albright, Chris Walker, and others. It is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, yesterday, last night, the United States Supreme Court, in their shadow docket, allowed for Alabama Republicans to move forward with a new congressional map that wipes out a black congressional district. Folks, this is beyond nonsensical what is going on. Remember, Justice Clarence Thomas gave black plaintiffs until 4 p.m. on Monday to present their arguments. Shortly thereafter, they allowed them to actually do it. This is the craziest thing we've ever seen because literally, supposedly, when they ruled in the Louisiana versus Calais case, they claimed that it allowed, if discrimination could be proven, then Voting Rights Act stands. Well, guess what? A lower court, 3 judges, two Trump-appointed judges and 1 Clinton, ruled that Alabama discriminated against black voters in the creation of their congressional map. The Supreme Court threw that out and said, nope, they can move forward, and they said that the lower court erred in their ruling. How? I mean, it literally makes no sense. This Supreme Court, this extreme court, what they are doing, frankly, they're doing the job of Congress. They're just making whatever rules they want to make up. And that's what we're dealing with right now. Let me go to Dr. Marcus Castor. He's a lead plaintiff in the Castor versus Allen case. Evan Milligan is a lead plaintiff in the Allen versus Milligan case. Glad to have y'all back here. Marcus, this is utterly insane to me, what is going on. What we are seeing right now is an extreme court just doing whatever they want. They literally said, okay, it's too late to change the maps. They allowed Louisiana to literally cancel the election and change the map. It's like you're sitting here going, what the hell are you doing? And they supposedly, in the Calais case, laid out a protocol if discrimination can be proven. Well, guess what? The lower court showed that it was blatant discrimination, and this extreme court says, nah, we're going to toss it out.
Yeah, thank you for having me back again, Roland. That is the confusing part about it all, because we thought that maybe since they ruled on it in 2023, that they would come back and be strong about it in 2026. You know, we're right at 3 years away from the previous ruling in 2023, and they went with a stay. And I thought that they would be more stronger in their ruling in this case right now. But, you know, I guess they decided that, hey, we're going to just let it roll out, let it play out for a couple of years, and we'll come back and revisit it later on. But, you know, it's really hurting us right now, and the impact is going to be felt tremendously in the future. So we hope and pray that everything works out just fine here in the future and ready to get back in the courts.
Hey, Evan, they're all over the place on this. I mean, we don't know what the hell they're deciding. We don't know what the hell they're ruling. Again, for them to say that the lower court erred, and then what's crazy is that they're saying that federal judges should just simply trust the legislature doing what's right. We know for a fact that white Republicans in the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, cannot be trusted. They have shown to be racist when it comes to maps. What the hell are they talking about?
It also flies in the face of the facts on the record, you know, in the life cycle of this case. Because when the Supreme Court held in 2023 that this same lower court was correct in their analysis of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, the case was remanded to them. And when that judge panel received the case again, they asked the leaders of the Alabama state legislature, do we need to appoint a special map master who can, draw the remedial maps, and then we conference about what the different parties to this lawsuit think about it? Or if you call a special session, will you follow our orders this time? Because they had already ordered that legislature to produce a map that conformed with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And the state legislative leaders agreed that they would hold the session and that they would produce that map. And not only did they not keep that promise, they produced the map that we are now going to be forced to, that's now been placed back into law, which actually was a weaker map than the one we originally sued over. So, this is enabling of behavior to the highest level that no other people here in our state outside of these elected officials would be able to get away with.
Robert, what is it saying with this ruling? First of all, it's unsigned, and it was a 21-page ruling. The dissent of Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson was 17 pages. They say that this Supreme Court is sowing chaos. Their rulings are so contradictory to what they said 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's also contradictory when it comes to the actual Calais case. And so I guess what they're saying is, you know what? There's no way we can prove, and I've seen voting experts say, what they're essentially saying is there's no way we can now prove discrimination. I mean, this is a blatant case. We're talking about in Alabama, they defied the federal court. They just completely ignored the federal court and said, we're going to do what the hell we want to do. And this Supreme Court is allowing them to do so. And what I don't understand is how they can say that, oh, you know what? The courts must trust the legislative intent. How do you trust the intent of people who have proven to be racist?
Yes, it's funny that you say that, Roland, because actually when I was on the stand, witness stand last year, and I was in front of the 3-judge panel, those same 3-judge panel that found the maps discriminatory towards African Americans, blacks in Alabama. And I told the attorneys that had me on the witness stand, I gave them just what you just said. You all are defying everything that the 3-judge panel has ruled. You all are, just being disobedient, and you're just defying everything. And I just let them know, what type of example are you all setting to our young kids? I mean, because you're telling them that, hey, you don't have to listen to authority, and the three court panel judges, that's your authority, and they're not listening to them. So I just want to know, they're not setting a very good example for the youth in the state of Alabama, and it's hurting us right now. It's going to hurt, but we're fighting.
I just, again, Evan, what I don't understand is, what in the hell can black folks do? I mean, this is to have a lower court say, we studied the Calais decision. We applied the Calais standard. We still find that it was discriminating against black voters, and this Supreme Court says, yep, y'all go right ahead, it's no big deal. So essentially what this court is saying, that what they're saying, Evan, is the Voting Rights Act is dead. We're simply not going to declare it dead. We're just going to keep ruling in a way to let everybody know that the Voting Rights Act is dead. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what other way plaintiffs can prove discrimination if they ignore the discriminatory map in this case, which is as blatant as all get out.
I thought that this case would be the one, if there was no other case that could make that could match the exceptional bar the court has set, I thought this would be the one to do it. Because I just didn't think that the Supreme Court would want to stand next to state behavior that was as unusual and egregious as what the state of Alabama did in this case. And we could think cynically about the timing of the ruling in our case in 2023, and then for them to come back 3 years later with Calais and make basically 2 votes go the other way. But we could say, well, maybe they felt like the state of Alabama's example was just not the right case to sort of build that type of transition away from precedent on. And we observed that during the oral argument for Calais, the Solicitor General for the United States, when he was arguing, he repeatedly made fun of the state of Alabama's argument and their behavior. And I think at least 1 or 2 of the justices made offhanded remarks, basically saying, that Alabama stuff, we're not talking about that. What we're doing, this case here in Calais is different because of X, Y, Z. So I thought, because the record is the same and because of the state of Alabama's behavior, if anything, has been even more out of the norm since 2023, I didn't think the U.S. Supreme Court would want to co-sign that. But they did it with this 2-page opinion, and it says something about the departure away from the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and it also signals what could be a foreshadow of attacks on the Reconstruction Amendment. So not only are we attacking the gains of the second Reconstruction, but now we're to the first Reconstruction. And then, in terms of what you were saying about what black people can do, continuing to organize for voting, because regardless of whether or not votes are certified in November or whatever elections take place between now and then, it's still important for us to make the case that that enfranchisement is valuable. And the organizing that goes into doing community canvassing and messaging is also something that we should continue to pour into. And then also think about, what do we do if this federal government decides not to certify the votes after November? And I think that's a rich conversation that we need to have.
Indeed. Robert and Evan, both of you plaintiffs in these Alabama cases, y'all have been fighting a good fight. And despite what the Supreme Court is doing, we absolutely must be voting en masse to correct these wrongs, because what they have done in this case and others is completely wrong. Gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Folks, I'm going to go to a break. We come back. I'm going to talk with our panel. Then we're going to also talk about this lawsuit of black farmers. This is Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live outside of the Obama Presidential Center here on the south side of Chicago. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. I'll be right back. All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Hey everybody, I'm T.D. Jakes, and I want to encourage you to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered. It'll blow your mind.
Hold on, wait. All right, folks, I want to bring in my panel right now, Robert Patillo. He, of course, lawyer out of Atlanta. Glad to have Robert on the show, especially talking about all this craziness we're dealing with. He's a civil rights lawyer, Patillo Law Group. Also, we're going to be Zachary Kirk, who's an educator and content creator out of Atlanta. Robert, I want to go to you. I don't know what the hell the Supreme Court is doing, Robert. I mean, it is schizophrenic. It's contradictory. It's as if what they ruled 2-3 weeks ago doesn't matter. They're just doing whatever the hell they want. There's no precedent. I mean, they're literally overturning precedent, their own precedent from 6 months ago, a year ago. It's crazy.
Well, Roland, this is the entire point of our constitutional system, having things such as stare decisis, such as a system of precedents. Before this court, courts took the idea of previous court rulings being exceedingly important and not overturning them unless there was the most compelling of justifications behind it. This court, the Roberts Court, has simply decided that stare decisis and precedents don't matter. The only thing that matters is pleasing Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump says the only thing that we care about right now is ensuring that I can win the midterms, then none of this matters. They overturned Roe versus Wade with no justification. They overturned the Chevron doctrine, no justification. This is a rogue court. And once you lose that faith in the judiciary, which has long been the only branch of government which gave comfort or which was seen as being fair by the American people, well, then now you're no longer operating within a constitutional system. Because there are no checks and balances. We can no longer trust the Department of Justice because Trump has put his own political cronies there who spend more time filing fake lawsuits or prosecuting his political enemies than actually dealing with civil rights cases or enforcing the law. You can't trust the FBI. You can't trust the CIA. The approval rating for Congress is something like 17%. The approval rating for the president is 34%. What institution is left that the American people have any modicum of faith in? Up until recently, that was the Supreme Court. But now, ever since Bush v. Gore, in large part, but accelerating in recent years, we're seeing what conservatives used to call an activist court. There was a point in time when conservatives made the argument that judges were legislating from the bench. And right now, we have to have the next Democratic president look truthfully into reforming the court, putting in term limits, putting in age limits, and most importantly, expanding the court. There's nothing constitutional that says there has to be 9 judges. That we have to pack the court. That's what we got to do.
Zach, well, first of all, I'm not even going to use the language "pack the court." To your point, we've had more, less judges. Zachary, the thing here, Robert hit on it, and that is this here. Conservatives always complain about activist judges. These judges are saying we're the court, we're the legislative branch, we can do whatever the hell we want to. Their rulings make no sense. Folks, and do me a favor, Wesley and Keenan, be sure to get up. I want y'all to put this whole ruling on blackstarnetwork.com. I really want y'all to read the dissent of Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson. They said that this court, Zachary, is creating chaos. They claim they don't want to create chaos, but they absolutely positively are creating chaos.
John Roberts has made this his life's work and his life's mission to hurt black voters in this country from the moment he got on that bench, and he has worked tirelessly to do so. And it's absolutely resulting in chaos. Not just chaos for black America, but chaos for this entire country. We have never seen anything like the gerrymandering foolishness that we're currently seeing. The state of Alabama is made up of 1/3 black people, but this movement is going to diminish their vote altogether, reducing them down to 1 safe seat out of 7. And it is absolutely abhorrent. We're also seeing in this rollback, people's votes are being thrown out, exactly as Dr. Castor said. There's no justice in what has happened, and now the onus is going to fall upon the people to do the work of pushing forward and pushing through and finding a way to really still pull through and win this through the efforts of our votes. And it's heartbreaking and it's disappointing, but that is unfortunately where we are, and that's exactly, unfortunately, what people like John Roberts have wanted us to be. The chaos, unfortunately, I have to say this, people, and I know it's going to hurt to hear it, but I'm afraid that the chaos is just beginning. This is just the beginning. We're still in the beginning phases of the rollbacks, of the attacks. And we've got to steel ourselves. We have to cement ourselves. We have to ground ourselves and stay focused in the work of our ancestors so that our future generations will still be able to push through, because there's a lot of work ahead of us and we can't tire yet.
Robert, I'll be honest. I believe at this point, what these people are going to do, I think they're going to throw out the 14th Amendment. I think they're going to, I think on Friday, they're going to hand Trump a victory when it comes to citizenship. I don't trust this court at all. I don't trust any of these people. They absolutely, I don't give a damn what John Roberts says. Oh, we got to have trust in the courts. This extreme court has destroyed any of that with these schizophrenic, nonsensical rulings that they have been making.
And the problem is, what we've heard from constitutional scholars, I remember hearing this in law school, was that our system requires certainty. People need to know what the law is and how it applies. People need to understand when they are within the realm of legal activity and when they're outside the realm of legal activity. But if the law is completely arbitrary and capricious, if the law changes upon the whims of one individual or one group, if there's no justification given, no logic in the decisions, then lower courts can't even make rulings to be in line with what the upper courts are doing. So that means you're getting even more cases in controversy going to the circuit courts and eventually working their way up to the Supreme Court. I mean, the next Democratic president is essentially going to have to do a page 1 rewrite of everything that's been put into law from essentially 2024 until 2028. I mean, we're going to have to bring lawsuits at every level of government. We're going to have to not just replace Supreme Court justices. I mean, we're going to have to talk about bringing in and confirming hundreds and hundreds of justices on the circuit court level, on the appeals court level, and across the country in state level courts and state level Supreme Courts. The Heritage Foundation, these outside groups have been working for the Federalist Society, have been working for 2 generations to create exactly this federal judiciary, which is hell bent on doing one thing, which is reversing every single gain of the civil rights movement.
I'm telling y'all right now, the only way this changes, there has to be a massive, and I mean a massive, black turnout. You heard me allude to it, what happened in 1983 in this city when 85% of all eligible black folks voted. It was so major that in a lot of precincts, 100% of the registered people voted in a lot of these precincts. That elected Harold Washington as the first black mayor of Chicago. That is the only way you defeat these fascists. And I'm telling you, I don't trust this extreme court at all. Folks, June 12th and 13th, Reverend Dr. Bishop William Barber, they are going to be organizing. And first of all, I have 2 days of virtual training, teaching people how to organize and mobilize when it comes to voter registration and when it comes to get out the vote. We have already got more than 1,200. We want to hit 2,000. Folks, go to blackstarnetwork.com, click that link, that Bishop Barber story, go to Repairs of the Breach. You can sign up. We've got to actually make this happen. All right, let's go to our next story, where farming organizations have filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump's Department of Agriculture to seek the reinstatement of a $127 million program, or $127 million in grants. They say that the cancellation of those grants violated due process. They are seeking a judge to overturn the terminations and require the USDA to restore these grants. Sharon Mallory is the executive director of the 2020 Farmers Cooperative. Sharon, glad to have you here. So walk us through how many different entities are involved in this lawsuit, and these grants that you're suing about, what exactly were those grants for?
Well, that's a good question, Roland. There's approximately, I would say, as of May 13th, there were approximately 23 organizations across the country that were affected, or at least moved forward with the lawsuits against the USDA. All in all, there were 49 organizations who just had their grant funding slashed and tossed out. There were a total of 50 awards, but one award was able to move forward and had a stay on their previous lawsuit because they were part of the first, what I would call a slashing of the USDA's discriminatory practices. But even though the funding has been cut, at least as far as the 2020 Farmers Co-op, we felt it was extremely important to move forward with a collective voice, especially representing small-scale farmers, black, brown, white, green, whatever. Moving forward with this type of lawsuit, our board contemplated, because as you know, or may not know, with the USDA, there are several organizations or entities within the USDA, and a lot of organizations didn't necessarily want to move forward in fear of backlash or a decrease in funding or inability to apply for additional federal funding. Our board supported the position of we need to be a voice, a collective voice, along with other organizations to move forward to try to appeal this thing and maybe recapture the funding that was taken away.
And we've seen other federal judges rule in several other different cases. So it's not like this is outside of the realm. The reality is this anti-black administration, they canceled many grants just because it had the word black in it. They didn't care about who it helped. Yet Donald Trump, he had all these white farmers at the White House saying, I'm standing up for you, and wouldn't even invite John Boyd with the National Black Farmers Association there as well. And so people need to understand the battle that black farmers have been facing has been consistent, not just with this administration, previous ones as well. But this administration absolutely has been slashing and burning anything that helps black people.
Right, Martin, I think you're absolutely correct. The one thing that I like to stand on, and I'll quote the artist Beyonce, when it comes to farmers that have been tending the land, especially generationally, you can't break our soul. And so what we have to do and what we're going to try to do with the 2020 Farmers Co-op is to continue to move forward as we always have been. There's been such a disinvestment in black farms across the country over the years. So a systemic type ill that was kind of right-siding itself a little bit. But because the funding was cut, that doesn't mean our mission is cut. We're still going to strive to help small business become, small farming business to become viable and economically viable as well. And so we're going to push through this as we have for years and years and years. We're going to try to create things that will assist small farmers in the communities that were impacted by this. You know, it's not just cutting these grants. It's more of a macro type situation with this, Roland, and we have to stay focused and not be distracted by the noise around the USDA and what they are blatantly doing. And you almost have to ask the question, if it's not us, then who? And so when it comes to food, there's one thing we know for sure is that most folk don't want to go too long without eating. And when you pull the carpet away from small scale farmers across the country, that has a significant nationwide impact, not only for black farmers, but all small scale farmers. And we're moving into a crisis if these funds aren't restored and organizations like the 2020 Farmers Co-op are not able to go out and assist small-scale farmers in becoming economically viable and assisting them into markets. You know, this particular program, the Land Access and Capital Markets Grant, was really trying to help small-scale farmers penetrate and scale up into markets that have basically been excluded from for a lot of different reasons. So this was a really significant type of grant that was very creative, very forward thinking, and for it to be terminated not only affected small scale organizations, it's going to have an impact, we believe, in a very broad aspect, which is one of the reasons we decided to move forward collectively with a lawsuit.
All right, then. We'll certainly keep us abreast of what happens next with the lawsuit. I'm going to go to my panel and allow them an opportunity to ask you a question. Zachary, you first.
Thank you so much. Mallory, please, Ms. Mallory, I want to really emphasize to people out there that when black farmers lose money, lose funding, lose resources, white businesses suffer too. So I want you to be able to just, if you can give us, or want to ask you, what are the ripple effects that will hurt the American economy across the board in our farming communities that they're going to suffer from this?
Yeah, I think it's a compounding effect here. And when you affect small-scale farmers, and I'll use beef as an example, okay? There are a lot of small-scale ranchers that provide a lot of local beef to our markets. Right now, when you look at the beef market, you go to the grocery store for ground beef, you're paying $6 to $10 a pound for ground beef. That's only going to be escalated by not providing resources that small-scale farmers can become more efficient. They can have better genetics. They can be able to create herds and things of that nature. So we're anticipating that the USDA will try to mitigate this in some fashion and provide incentive. The USDA has always provided incentive to small-scale farmers. It was just not small-scale farmers of color. And so that is one of the impactful things that really has an impact. And so what we want to do as a 2020 Farmers Co-op is position our small-scale farmers so that they are ready and can compete in this market, because that's what the grant was about. Whether the funding is not, definitely we want the funding back, but it is quite significant. And you know, if I had to encourage, you know, individuals, if you're thinking about how to support small-scale farmers, first thing I'm going to say is change the behavior, and then support your small-scale farmers by buying local and buying fresh.
Robert.
Thank you so much for everything that you are doing and the information you provided. When I was executive director of the Rainbow Push Coalition Peachtree Street Project in Atlanta, I ran Reverend Jackson's Black Farmers Initiative, particularly during the time when Secretary Vilsack and the Biden administration were working on getting additional support and economic support for Black farmers that have really been ripped away by the current administration through lawsuits by Stephen Miller, et cetera. Could you talk briefly about kind of the triple pandemic, if it would be, that has hit Black farmers during this administration, between the tariffs onto the restrictions, the new rules that favor the agribusinesses? Can you just really give people an idea of what the true conditions are for Black farmers right now?
Well, I know you've heard the saying, if some folk catch a cold, blacks catch the flu. And that's exactly what we have here. So just to give you a nutshell on this whole agricultural industry and how it has changed over the years, back in the 80s, it was a switch from supporting small-scale farmers to go big or go home. Therefore, you had a lot of industrial-type agricultural entities to emerge themselves. And so over the years, what has happened is that big industrial farmers have bought up land, bought small-scale farmers out, and really moved along. So fast forward to 2026, 2025, you get an administration that comes in and starts placing tariffs upon that, slashing USDA programs that a lot of small to mid-sized scale farmers were contributing into. I just got back from Arkansas, and one of the things they were telling me, there's a Black-owned rice mill there. And one of the things they were telling me with the slashing of the USDA, USAID, it had a significant impact because they provided a lot of rice and byproducts through the USAID program. And by completely slashing that program out, it was devastating, or is devastating, to that small Black-owned rice mill. And so we have to be very conscious in communities about the impact of this. And so by slashing these type of grants, putting tariffs on things, it's not only hurting the small-scale farmers, it's hurting the large farmers, the mid-sized farmers, and of course the small-scale farmer right now is really catching the flu. And we've got to do something. We've got to have the right medicine, the right mindset, be very focused on moving forward, being very focused on getting our message out, being present and being seen. But behind being present and being seen, we have to be very proactive in putting strategies together to recreate systems where small-scale farmers can partake in those systems. And to me, that really means addressing the issues that many communities, especially dense communities, have. That is addressing this thing called food insecurities. Small-scale farmers can be a solution to that, whether you're rural or urban, in providing produce and proteins to these communities. So we have to recreate a system where small-scale farmers are invited to be included into the system and not excluded from the system.
All right, Sharon Mallory. We sure appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, and good luck with your lawsuit.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Roland.
Folks, going to a break. When we come back, we're going to get an update from Attorney Thelma Anderson with regards to the Karmelo Anthony trial in Collin County, Texas. Folks, you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do here on the Black Star Network. Look, trips like this here to cover this media day. Listen, we don't have a sponsor for this. We're paying for this. When it comes to the other things that we do, we travel doing shows around the country. Look, that's coming out of our pocket as well. We don't have millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks. So your support is absolutely critical. So do me a favor. If you have not joined our Bring the Funk fan club, today is the day for you to do so. Our goal is simple. We want 20,000 people on average contributing $50. If you can't do that, you less, we appreciate that. You can do more, we appreciate that. And so this is about us being able to have sustainable black-owned media. Listen, I spent 6 years here in Chicago. I ran the Chicago Defender, a historic black newspaper. I was, of course, had a midday in the morning radio show, WVON Radio. Later did some work for Ebony Magazine, all black owned. I'm telling you right now, the Chicago Defender today ain't what it was when Robert Abbott owned it. Ebony Magazine today, not even close to what it was when John H. Johnson owned it. And so if we are going to have a future, we've got to have a future where black-owned media is being supported. Again, I'm on the south side of Chicago. Folks, there used to be numerous black newspapers all across the south side, all across Chicago, covering our issues. You don't have the reporting anymore. And so your support allows us to be able to hire staff, to have additional resources, to build this black-owned, independent digital news network out. So if you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here on the screen. If you're listening to me right now, go to blackstarnetwork.com. You can contribute there as well. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Keenan, you're listening. Hey, that's not on the website. We need to have the address for checks and money orders there on the website when you click the donate button. So, checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037. That's 0196. PayPal is paypal.me/R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back. All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
I'm Ryan Wilson, CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Folks, day 2 of the State of Texas versus Karmelo Anthony trial. Joining us right now is attorney Thelma Anderson. She has been in the courtroom. Thelma, what happened today?
Well, today is the day that the jury selection should be concluded as of now. they narrowed it down after lunch to about 90 jurors, potential jurors. So any time now, we should get confirmation that the jury has been selected and trial will begin tomorrow.
How many potential people? Was it close to 500 they were drawing from?
It was 600. It was 600.
Okay. And
which
just,
was
we always got to
necessary.
remind people, when we talk about these, and when we talk about these cases, people don't understand that in Texas, jury pools come from registered voters.
100% accurate. Registered voters is how they select who is going to be issued a subpoena or issued a summons to come down and be a part of the jury pool.
All right, so it'll be narrowed down, and once that jury is selected, goes right into trial. So that means tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and I understand they may even have trial on Saturdays.
I haven't heard this Saturday, but I'm not shocked because the way that they have scheduled this particular trial, they have shut down court for every other court. And if you know this particular court in Collin County, it houses every court from civil, family to criminal, probate. They're all housed in this particular courthouse. So I would not be surprised if we find out when he's going over the instructions and rules as they begin to start and read the indictment and go into opening statements, that he addresses the scheduling to the public.
And also, my understanding, the reason we have not been hearing from Anthony's family or lawyers, as well as the family of the young man who died, the judge has a gag order in effect?
Yes. So last year, I want to say in June, once Karmelo had his new legal team, no, it was like May or June, the judge issued a gag order. And this was after the original judge that was on the case, Angela Tucker, who is an African-American judge, was receiving all of these death threats and being doxxed at her own property, that they realized the magnitude and the severity and the security that was needed around this particular trial. So the judge issued a very strict gag order, but I can tell you that I want to say in October, I caught the father, Metcalf, on live on TikTok saying that he was intentionally disregarding the gag order. He was talking about the case on TikTok as well as using racial slurs.
Questions from the panel. Robert, you first.
So, any other time in American recent history, it seems that we would have had at least some judicial system that seems that we would get a fair trial and fair outcome in this. But given the nature of what we've seen politically the last several years, given the outcomes in many recent cases, what is the feeling on the ground there among people in the community? What do they expect the outcome of this case to be?
Well, it's very split. Of course, when we're talking about the core African Americans, we understand how Karmelo Anthony has been subjected to what the criminal justice system has intentionally invoked on African Americans. So we are very sensitive to Karmelo Anthony's rights. And on the other side, we have seen very aggressive racial tones of the other side that is disregarding the severity and the need for this case to play out in court. And they are playing out in the public opinion court, and that has created a divide. That is the reason why Jack Lang, who I'm pretty sure people are familiar with, he's been arrested several times for disrupting judicial or even city ordinances, got arrested because they're in Frisco right now. The white supremacists are in Frisco right now, causing tension to rise surrounding this case. So it's very divided. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be even heightened security focused around this because of the tone that has been carried for over a year.
Of what evidence, because you talked about this is being played out on social media. I follow this case. One thing I do on my platform, as activists on all social media platforms, is give insight to the Black perspective of Black news that other outlets aren't covering in mainstream media, very similar to what Roland does. And in this case, I wonder, with something as chaotic as what happened at a track meet, what type of evidence do you think will matter most to these jurors? Like, what are they? How are they going to come? You think will matter the most?
Well, that is a very good question to ask, because I know that has been the subject to a lot of wondering and the questions surrounding the security that the judge has placed around this case. Because customarily, we can go online and we can look at the motions being filed, what witnesses have been subpoenaed. We can look and kind of gauge how the case is going to play out. But in this particular case, this is a high school track meet, so we can anticipate that we're going to have eyewitnesses who were there surrounding the individuals during this incident. We know law enforcement. We know the medical examiner is going to basically give us an overview of the cause of death, which is very important, and tell us what kind of injury caused the cause of death. We're going to find out what kind of weapon that they alleged that was used, because they are stating it's a knife. So outside of the actual physical evidence, I believe that what the jury paid close attention to is the forensics. They trust science more than they trust people. And I know that for a fact. I have won and lost cases based off of the science and also witness testimony. The credibility of your witness is very important in this case. And you can win and lose the case off of the lack or the credibility of the witnesses that you intend to call.
All right, then. Well, we shall see what happens next when it comes to this jury being seated. Thelma, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Folks, fireworks were going off on Capitol Hill today when Congressman Al Green got to question a former United States Senator who now is in Trump's administration, the head of the Department of Homeland Security. Ooh, watch this.
As the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the ranking member as well. Mr. Chairman, the Secretary has commented on race, a topic that I believe I'm eminently qualified to speak on, given that in my lifetime, I went to the back door to get my food. I drank from filthy colored water fountains. I sat in the back of the bus, in the balcony of the movie when a seat was available. So let me just share some of the characteristics of a racist, Mr. Secretary. A racist will depict people of color as apes. The pictures have been blurred, but you know who they are. This is what a racist would do. And a racist wouldn't apologize after doing this. Mr. Secretary, that's what a racist would do. A racist, Mr. Secretary, would take offense at peaceful protest. You said you believe in peaceful protest. This was peaceful protest, Mr. Secretary. Racists take offense at peaceful protest. A racist, Mr. Secretary, would do what happened to Ruby.
Are you calling me a racist?
A racist
I'm asking a question.
Reclaiming my time, ask him to shut up.
That's a pretty.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. It's my time.
I'm not going to let anybody call me a racist, Chairman.
I never called him a racist. It's my time.
It is, gentlemen, will suspend.
He will not.
Tell him to shut up.
Gentlemen suspend. No, the gentleman will suspend.
No one will call me a racist. I'm Cherokee too. My family has been pretty tolerant.
I ask that my time be restored. I ask that my time be restored.
The clock has been stopped since I suspended the clock.
I will continue to interrupt as long as someone's sitting there assuming
I agree.
calling me a racist.
And as I said before, there will be no addressing anyone's character in a negative way. By the way, Mr. Green, I need you. When you're speaking, I need you to speak into the microphone because I can't hear you up here. But we will.
Evidently, his constituents heard enough of him because they voted him out of office.
Mr. Secretary, please. Again, we're almost done here today. Mr. Green, you can continue, but again, I will stop if this sounds like you are either directing that this secretary is a racist, or as well as the president or vice president, because we do know under our rules you cannot disparage a member of Congress or the president or the vice president. So I understand what you're trying to do. Be very careful because it is a violation of our committee rules to disparage another member, a witness, or the president or the vice president.
Part of parliamentary inquiry. Mr. Chairman, when I'm speaking, I believe that the time belongs to me. I don't think that the secretary should interrupt me when I'm speaking.
I have made very clear today that when the member has their time, it is their time. But again, I want to reiterate, it is a violation of House rules to make statements that might be personally offensive to the president or vice president. So we will let you continue with your time. The time has stopped since I suspended the clock. But again, it is a violation. It is your time, sir. It is your time, I agree. But it is a violation of the rules of the House to make statements that might be personally offensive to the president or the vice president of the United States, as well as other members or question motives of colleagues. So I will let you continue, but we want to be I've now stated the rules, so we want to follow them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will speak into the microphone so that I may be heard. I ask that any person who desires to interrupt me, shut up. Now, this is Ruby Bridges. She was integrating a school. You can see the hate on the faces of people. This was called racism. This was racism. All I did at the State of the Union address was display this, Mr. Chairman. This was what I did. I was peaceful. The secretary says he believes in peaceful protest. Cue the video, please. Cue one. Freeze the frame, please. That, my friends, is the Secretary of Homeland Security. He traversed some distance to get to a peaceful protester and display his despicable behavior. Unbought, that's me. Unbossed, unafraid, that's me. And by the way, unelected, yes. Liberated, Democrat. You, sir, have engaged in despicable behavior. Now, let's just talk for a moment about this behavior. It's not the only time that you've behaved in a dastardly way. Cue the second video, please.
Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution?
Hold it. No, sit down. Hi, Eric. Sit down. Look at you. You know, you're a United States Senator.
That was the Secretary of Homeland Security. The Secretary of Homeland Security concerns me because of his behavior as it relates to peaceful protests, as it relates to the way he chose to come over and with force address a peaceful protester. It concerns me because in that department, they have many people of color. I'm concerned about how they will be treated under the leadership of this Secretary of Homeland Security. I do not believe that he is qualified because he doesn't have the temperament to deal with people in a respectful way. I peacefully protested. I would do it again because I know the history of apes and how they have been used to demean people of color.
Gentleman's time is
Reclaiming his time, Robert.
Most. Well, back when I worked on the Hill. Well, someone like Al Green would stand up. Someone like a Maxine Barnes would stand up. You know, the quote-unquote old guard, who everyone in the Democratic Party, for some reason, seems to find the need to try to keep just shuffling on out the door. But at the same time, when they would stand up, when they would march, when they would walk out, the rest of the caucus would be sitting there on their hands. You know, remember the year that the first year that Al Green got escorted out of the joint address to Congress that Trump did. Instead of every single person in that chamber standing up and walking out in solidarity with him, they held up the little placard, the little black card to show their displeasure. I mean, the only way that you deal with a narcissist, and Trump is a narcissist, has refused to give him the attention that he is so starved for and that he so desires. So if you want to actually deal a blow to Trump and his ego, don't show up, anybody, for anything that he is doing. And if the old guard is standing up and we actually respect our elders in this caucus, you stand up and you walk out with them. It shouldn't just be Al Green holding up a sign saying we are not apes. Every single person in that room should have held up a sign and said we are not apes. Because they're going to be for how racist that is, one opportunity to actually do something about it. We hear crickets, we hear silence. This generation can learn something from our elders. We can learn something from the people who came before us. The old techniques have not gone out the window because you can send out a hashtag, because you can put out a TikTok video. Old school activism is still effective. And when we start losing the people who know how to lead us through these fights, we start losing what makes us who we are as a people and as a group. And I'm hoping Al Green runs again when he's 80 years old or however, and gets back in there, because we cannot reward these Republicans for their efforts in gerrymandering to get the real lions out of the House so they can bring a bunch of sheep in there to slaughter.
Zachary?
I could not agree with Robert more. What we saw just now, absolutely. You know what? Representative Green is not an ape. Zachary Kirk is not an ape. Roland Martin is not an ape. But I don't know why Mark Wayne Mullin sat his ass up there in that congressional hearing and acted like an ape. He's continuously acted like an ape. Absolutely disgusting behavior from this man, and a history of disgusting behavior. And to see Representative Green sit there and speak truth to power was an empowering moment for all of America, not just Black America, but for all of America. And it is heartbreaking to me to see this man still in his prime, still able to fight, still able to do the work, leaving Congress. But I am thankful, as heartbroken as I am thankful that he is now unbridled and that he is now able to speak truth to power at an even higher level. And I look forward to seeing what this man in his early 70s will continue to do to push Black America and all of this nation forward. That was an amazing clip, and I'm so thankful, Roland, that you shared it with your audience.
Before I go to our Black Star Network headlines and release both of you, we're going to be doing our Peebo Bryson tribute. We got some folks or guests who are waiting. Just got to get y'all thoughts very quickly about the House voting to end the war in Iran. And full Republicans sided with all Democrats. Zachary, what do you make of today's vote?
I always applaud the courage and the bravery of Republicans in a time like this to do the right thing for the American people, because the American people are hurting. Even the ones who don't realize it, even the ones who aren't willing to admit it. There are Republicans, there are MAGA faithful who are sitting here, cannot afford to put gas in their car. There are MAGA faithful who cannot afford, as I've said on a previous episode, to wash their ass and clean their ass because they can't buy soap. They can't afford their water bills. They can't afford the deodorant they need to stay hygienic. They can't afford it. Yet and still, they're still following behind Donald Trump and his agenda and his inflation and his tariffs and all the things that are breaking and bringing this country down to ruin. But those 4 Republicans, they did the right thing, and they sided with the Democrats. And we need to continue to encourage more Republicans to do the exact same thing and apply pressure where necessary, pressure every day to get the votes that we need to do the right thing for this country. Of course, huge thanks to all of our Democratic lawmakers who are always, well, traditionally on the right side of history. They most certainly are with this one.
Robert?
Yeah, Roland, it's one of the weirdest things I think we're dealing with right now in America is the fact that you can only get Republicans to vote the right way and actually support the Constitution when they're out of office, essentially. It's only when they have realized that they are no longer going to be in power that suddenly they realize the Constitution exists, that our democratic norms are a thing, and that maybe we should not give unbridled and unquestioned power to one individual. The question is going to be what happens after this, because all that happens after the War Powers resolution is that now he has to go back before Congress for another vote if he decides to renew hostilities. And there are a few issues going on with it after that. But will these Republicans all hold to their guns and say that the war is over? And if they do so, what does this mean, not just for the midterms here in America, because that will truly show Trump to be a lame duck, and Republicans reading the writing on the wall and saying we have to break free from the MAGA agenda if we want to have any hope of saving our own tails, not just Trump's tail in November. But also, what does that mean internationally? Because if America cuts and runs right now, leaving Iran with their nuclear arsenal, with their ballistic missiles, with their drone capabilities, with control of the Strait of Hormuz, able to charge $2 million per ship that comes in, with the IRGC firmly in control of the country and not the actual supreme leader, the religious clerics, after the president had offered his resignation. I mean, we have now changed the geopolitical tilt within the region, putting Israel and Iran on an inexorable heading towards war for hegemonic power within the Near East. So there are big things to come out of this, and we are only looking at the beginnings of it, not just here domestically, but internationally. And it's crucial to find out how many of those Republicans actually believe in what they're saying right now and will hold the president's feet to the fire and not allow this war to restart.
Absolutely. Zachary, Robert, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Folks, time for Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble.
The Trump administration is refusing to comply with the court order requiring it to refund $166 billion through illegally collected tariffs. The Supreme Court previously ruled that Trump lacked the constitutional authority to impose higher import taxes on goods from other countries. While the government has already processed roughly $85 billion in refund requests, only $21 billion has been repaid so far. The Trump administration is now signaling that some businesses may have to file their own lawsuits to receive the money. The money is owed to roughly 53 million refund entries, which is about 330,000 importers. Regardless of the current uproar over refund processing, Trump is still pushing for a new round of tariffs. The new tariffs include 10% and 12.5% on dozens of countries and the European Union. The Trump administration dropped its plans toward their anti-weaponization fund, also known as the slush fund. On Tuesday, U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche told lawmakers that the Trump administration is abandoning the $1.8 billion fund. Former criticisms and lawsuits against the fund from both Democrats and Republicans argued it could lead to payments for prosecuted and convicted individuals over the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. The proposed fund was disclosed to settle a lawsuit Trump filed against the IRS over leaks of his tax return. And 6 states held primary elections on Tuesday for House, Senate, State and local offices, Iowa and California, have drawn national attention due to key Senate and gubernatorial races. For the Democrats to secure a Senate majority, they need to gain 4 seats, including in the predominantly Republican states like Iowa, where Representative Josh Turek won the Democratic primary. In California, an all-party primary system allows the 2 candidates with the most votes to advance to the general election, regardless of their party affiliation. And currently, the governor's race is too close to call, with Republican Steve Hilton holding a narrow lead over Democrat Xavier Becerra. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has secured her position in the general election, giving her a chance at a second term. Well, an Arkansas state trooper resigns after his estranged wife shares 30 screenshot messages depicting him as a white supremacist amid divorce proceedings. Michael Austin Kennedy's wife, Alana Kennedy, issued a 32-page court filing as part of their divorce proceedings that included messages between the couple of him using racial slurs. At least 3 of the messages included pictures of Arkansas State police troopers posing with an arrested suspect, along with messages from Michael referring to the suspects as racial slurs. In other messages, the trooper suggested a repeal of the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote, and said Ramadan should be banned in Arkansas. Arkansas State Police have condemned the messages and reviewed all troopers' traffic stops and citations. According to them, there was no evidence that the accusations in the court filing actually reflected his work performance. And for the first time since its founding 45 years ago, the BET network will have a board of advisors providing a strategic and cultural sounding board for the network's ongoing evolution. Among those helping steer the network, which Paramount Skydance owns, will be BET co-founder Bob Johnson, rapper and actress Queen Latifah, and the rapper and actor LL Cool J. According to Paramount Skydance, the 6-member panel is tasked with providing insight, perspective, and accountability as the owned media company plans its next chapter.
All right, Brittany, we sure appreciate that. So thanks a lot. And guess what? That BET advisory panel is a joke. They ain't got no power whatsoever. So that's just a PR move, y'all. That's all that is. Be sure to watch the Breakdown of Brittany Noble every day, noon Eastern, right here on the Black Star Network. Again, the Breakdown, Brittany Noble every day, noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. When we come back, we'll pay tribute to singer Peebo Bryson, who passed away yesterday at the age of 75. We'll hear from singer Chris Walker, Regina Bell, who, of course, his favorite duet partner. Also, Gerald Albright, Jeffrey Osborne. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're in Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
What's happening? This is your man, Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching the Black Star Network.
folks, ever since we told you about Peebo Bryson passing away yesterday at the age of 75 in an Atlanta hospital, tributes have been pouring in from all around the world. People remembering his music, folks posting videos of him being at his concerts and photos with him as well. Folks talked about their favorite Peebo Bryson song, the duets. A strong voice, some R&B singer, crooner, you name it. Of course, just an amazing singer. And we, of course, are going to be sharing some of those thoughts. Right now, I want to talk with singer Chris Walker. Chris, of course, longtime singer, also performs with TMF. First of all, Chris, what's y'all name now? Are y'all the Maze Band? Are y'all like what's the name?
No, we are officially Maze. We're just Maze. No more.
Thank you.
No longer TMF.
Right, gotcha.
We're Maze.
Right.
We signed an exclusive deal with the Frankie Beverly Estate. We're good. Maze. We're Maze.
Gotcha. All right, then. I got you. All right, gotcha. So Chris performs with Maze. He's on vocals, and just share your thoughts. Peebo Bryson, when you first met him, and his impact on you personally, but also on the industry.
Well, when I first met Peebo, it was a long time ago, many, many years ago, actually, when I was working with Regina Bell. I got my start as her music director, and as you very well know, and the world knows that she's one of his duet partners. And, when I first heard his voice, man, it impacted me in such a way, because one of the things about Peebo is not only his range, but his tonality. You don't have many singers that have mastered, as I call it, the high C's. I call him the Pavarotti of R&B, because his voice, it's just so soothing, and it just pierces the soul. So Peebo, he's touched my life. He's been such a major influence on me, and he's going to be severely missed.
When we talk about music, obviously, standing out, there's a lot different when you are out front as opposed to being a backup singer. I was talking to a longtime music exec last night who said that what made him so different is that he has such a powerful voice. He talked about when he performed with Roberta Flack, and he often would perform the song that she did with Donny Hathaway. He would often perform Donny Hathaway's parts when he sang with Roberta Flack.
Right. And the thing about it is his voice was very powerful, but he also had a way of using it in a tender way. Prime example, A Whole New World, just the way he approached the beginning of it with such tenderness. And as the song developed, it grows into his bigger voice. So he had a tenderness about him that was just as strong as his powerful voice. So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And he's one of those singers that could stand flat-footed. He didn't need a band. He could blow you away just standing there in front of a microphone with no one else. And that's the power of Peebo Bryson.
When we talk about categories, oftentimes that word crooner was used for a Billy Eckstine, for artists in the 50s, in the 60s. And so how would you say we classify Peebo Bryson? If we're talking about, would we say he was one of the great crooners, or would we say he would be among the great R&B soloists of the second half of the 20th century?
I think it's a combination of both, to be honest with you. And if you notice, one of the things about Peebo that he did or does was he's able to hold notes. In the music today, not throwing any shade, but you don't hear singers holding notes anymore. I can show you the world. You just don't hear them sustaining notes anymore. Peebo did it. Luther did it. Frankie Beverly did it. Guys like that. personally, I miss that in today's music. But as long as I'm here, I'm going to try to continue helping that legacy and keeping that type of thing alive, sustaining notes, which people did.
You know, it's interesting. You know, Chris, it's interesting. I was looking up Peebo's contemporaries, and when you look at that, the reality is, I dare say he's the last of that generation. What I mean by that is James Ingram. James Ingram, right. Born February 16th, 1952. He died January 29th, 2019. When you look at Teddy Pendergrass, you know, Teddy P was born March 26, 1950. He died January 13th, 2010. If you look at when I looked up Luther Vandross, Luther Vandross was born around the same April 20th, 1951. He died July 1st, 2005. Barry White was born 1944, so 7 years older than Peebo. And again, Peebo Bryson, you know, born April 13th, 1951. And so when you start thinking about that group of male singers, Luther, Teddy, James Ingram, I know I'm trying to think right now who's still left of that generation of male crooners, male R&B singers.
Jeffrey Osborne. I mean,
well, Jeffrey, yeah. So Jeffrey, so we got when we get a vote of you. So Jeffrey's probably, I mean, of that generation, one of the last in terms of as a solo artist. Yeah.
And I would also say George Benson as well. Those two probably are, you know. Now George Benson, a different type of singer, but at one point, I mean, he was also, you know, a balladeer like that as well. I mean, he had some major hits, but I think just those two. But again, Peebo Bryson to me was in a class all by himself, man. Forget about it, you know.
Absolutely. So again, just a fantastic singer, and we will certainly miss him. Our last question I have for you, Chris. Do we still have Chris? Because we lost him there a little bit. We still have him?
Yes, I'm here. I'm still here.
Chris. So I'll ask you your favorite Peebo Bryson song, and not necessarily a song that the public may know, but your favorite Peebo Bryson song.
I'd have to say it's between Why Goodbye and Can You Stop the Rain. Those are probably my two favorite Peebo songs. And if you haven't heard Why Goodbye,
all right then, Chris,
look that one up.
Gotcha. Well, actually, I was talking to someone last night, and he mentioned a song called You. I'd never heard of it. He said it was a B-side, and then I went to listen to it, and an amazing song in terms of piano as well. And so we got it. Chris, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Folks, saxophonist Gerald Albright sent us a video sharing his thoughts and reflections regarding his longtime friend, Peebo Bryson.
Hey, Roland, thank you so much for the opportunity to give a few expressions about our dear friend, Peebo Bryson. When I heard of his passing, it was a huge blow for me because it put me into an immediate reflection of the 40-year friendship that we had. I was blessed to know him, and I was blessed to perform with him, record with him. Families came together. We just had great quality time together over the years. I've done jazz cruises with him. Just a plethora of stories. One that comes to mind, actually, is when I first met Peebo Bryson. I want to say it was back in 1988, 1989. He was recording his album at the time, and he called me to do a sax solo on a great arrangement of the song Show and Tell. And prior to this, we had never met, and I walk in the studio. It was Air LA Studios in Glendale, California. And he was just a pleasant guy, but a very confident guy. He knows what he wants, and you can tell with the career that he's had that he was very decisive and a perfectionist as well. And so he explained to me what he wanted on the tune Show and Tell. And he said, hey, I hear that you're that one take guy. You can do solos in one take. And my ego won't let me be convinced that you can do this solo in one take. And I said, well, you know, sometimes I get lucky and I do it in one take. And so I put the horn together. I went into the recording booth, got on the microphone, and he ran it down once, and I listened to it, and then he ran it down again. I played the solo, and then he gestured to me to come back into the control room. And he says, Gerald, I owe you an apology. He says, my ego wouldn't let me be convinced that you could do this in one take, but you did. And so it became a running joke for many, many years about that one take that I did on Show and Tell. But that was the launching pad of our friendship. And wow, what some great times we've had on stage. The other thing that I loved about him is that he never said no. If I had a gig where I needed a special guest vocalist, if he was available, he would be there. And we've done several shows together, the last of which was Cancun a few years back. And he was there with his lovely wife, Tanya, and Kid, his son. And when it was time for him to do his bit on stage, of course, he brought Kid out, who just loved being on stage. He was kind of shy at that time, but now I just saw a recent video of what he was doing, the Michael Jackson dance and stuff. So he's really grown into the love of music and the love of dance and vocals himself. It was just a touching moment, and one of many, many experiences that I've had with him. But once again, I appreciate the time for you letting me just express about people, because I'm in total reflection mode for him and for his family. The Albright family send prayers and condolences. So much love to you, Roland. Love what you do. Keep on the great work that you do. Peace and love.
All right, Gerald Albright, my frat brother, certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Folks, joining me right now is the official duet partner of Peabo Bryson, the great Regina Bell. Regina, glad to see you. Unfortunately, under these circumstances, last time I saw you, we were both in St. Louis 2 years ago, paying tribute to Frankie Beverly, who we later lost that year. Just share your reflections about the person who you said you created magic together with.
What can I say? I call him P. He was everything. It's always good to have in the music industry the iron that sharpeneth iron. I'm a believer, and I believe in having folk that can help you be your best self. And that's what he was to me on stage. I always brought my best Regina when Peabo was with me. So that is a piece that I will certainly miss. But off stage, he was, how can I say this? He was a brother that I never thought I would have. As the years went by, he was more transparent with me. We were able to share things about our lives to help us understand who each other was. And just, he trusted me. And that's the thing, to know this great man, this icon of a man, would take time out to humble himself, to kind of let me into his life, to know who he is. And, you know, we could have banter together, you know, back and forth about different things, you know, concerning our lives. So these are the pieces of him that I'm going to miss sorely.
What was it when you did A Whole New World? I saw the Billboard story said, you say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why did you say him? What made his voice so distinct that meshed so well with yours?
Well, you got to think, Roland, I back in my junior year in high school is when I got introduced to the voice of Peabo Bryson. I was in love on the first take. I heard you talking to Gerald and Gerald talking about the joke that they had between them about him being able to do the session in one take. I fell in love with him the first time I heard his voice. I went to college and had an opportunity to get he and Phyllis Hyman in for African American entertainment at Rutgers University. I met him there at Rutgers. That was my first time meeting him. And he did not disappoint. He was amazing. Then I went on the road with the Manhattans for 2 years singing backup, and I was honored to meet him yet again backstage watching his show, and even afterwards, after the show. But I think the greatest thing was sharing the stage with him and then realizing that he was the same person that I met at Rutgers so many years back, that, you know, and then to come into the full spectrum of who I am professionally on stage, and he be the same person, to be that kind to me, to be that compassionate to me, and to be that sharing. Like he helped me with developing who Regina Belle is. And so, that's a big piece of our relationship. Having this song, when I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, all of that goes into it. But also the fact that he had done Beauty and the Beast with Celine Dion. And I'm like, well, you know, that was really great. And he is, you know, in my top 5 being like my top 2. So, you know, let's go with who, you know, who makes it work and who brings the magic. And I'm grateful that I now get to be a part of that legacy. I get to be a part of a legacy that we created that will live beyond our children, our grandchildren, and even our great grandchildren. So it hurts to miss the person that I get to dance with on a whole new world. It hurts that I'll never hear him say in his intro of me, and this is my Regina Belle. You have to get your own. I'll miss all of that. I'll miss and he used to say that every time we went to work. So, you know, I'll miss that. And I'll miss the philosophical conversations we had where, you know, we would go at it. I mean, it would be hours and we would go at it. But that was my friend. That's what we did.
Last one. He always was clean. And what I mean by that is I think back to being at Essence Music Festival, and I went backstage to see Charlie Wilson. And when I went back there, Trey Songz was back there, and Trey had on, I think, a pair of jeans, had on like a white T-shirt, and I came in, you know, linen pants, jacket, ascot, pocket square, and Trey said, he said, man, he said, I'm standing in between these two unks. And Charlie Wilson turns to him, he said, Trey, he said, that's a grown crowd out there. And when you stand in front of grown people, you need to dress like it. And so next year when Trey Songz was there, he came out in a tuxedo. And so that was the other thing. I mean, when you look at any of the photos and videos, Peabo was always impeccably dressed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I was graced with coming out of the school of the fantabulous Manhattans. So I learned early that I had to come strong or don't come at all. So I was blessed with having that training, that 101 before I got to Peabo Bryson. How, as my grandfather said, house and never. Peabo took that level and had me upgrade, because it was like, you know, if we were going on stage together, you know, okay, well, I can't wear this dress. I can't. Okay, I need to wear this suit because I know he's going, you know, come out in, you know, like the diamond jacket. So It was no, jeans were never, ever a part of our coming together. We always dressed to the nines because that's what, that's the school we come out of. There are some gigs, some outdoor gigs that I might do, some jeans and a flashy top or something like that. But whenever I was with Peebo, even if it was an outdoor gig, I had to come strong. So we're always grateful for that because he was the full package. He was the total package. And he was the consummate musician, singer, and songwriter. He had it all. And, very few artists meet all of those criteria. And he's, wow. What can I say? Gonna be missed. And the thing I loved about him, Ro, is that he could stand still and maybe shake one leg or something, but not move much and give you music like nobody's business. And when I sing, I got to use my arms, my eyelashes are singing. Okay, this man just brought the noise with just standing flat-footed, 10 toes down, and giving you everything. And so, that part of my friend, that part of my music presentation, I'm going to miss immensely. I just don't have all the words, and I'm in hopes that I'm going to get some sleep in the next couple of days because I haven't been able to rest well just because it's just been a little bit unsettling. I told someone earlier today, I know that we all have to leave. None of us are here for forever. I'm a believer, and so I trust my mother when she says it's okay to leave here if you got someplace to go. But I never considered him leaving here. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds strange, and I just never considered him leaving. And so in his absence, there's a real void, and I'm going to miss him like crazy.
It's a void, but there's a lot of memories to hold on to. Regina Bell, always glad to see you. I appreciate your thoughts sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Folks, joining us right now, the great Howard Hewitt. Howard, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Roland? I'm good. Can you hear me?
Good, my brother. Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Good.
Share your thoughts with us about your longtime friend, Peebo Bryson. First time you met.
Yeah.
And just share your thoughts.
And Peebo, I was listening to Regina just now, and she and I have done many shows together. But when I looked at her, I remembered when Peebo he had the heart attack some years ago, right? And
2019.
2019, yeah. And so, they had called me about a couple of gigs to fill in for him, right? And one was with Regina, and we had to do, it was for an organization up in Las Vegas, and we had to do a whole new world, and I had to learn the song, right? I was cussing Peebo out the whole time I'm learning that song because, it was, and he was high in his voice, in his natural, man. It was crazy. And so we did
Regina,
it. Plus
is Regina still with us? Is Regina still with us? Regina, do you remember this?
I do remember it.
And what time was it? It was like 9 something in the morning.
It was early in the day. Yeah, it was early in the day. And here's the deal. Yeah. When anyone sings that song, they get mad because I make them sing it in the original key because I said, it's no way that Peebo's going to be 70-something years old, still killing this song, and you going to come along and ask me to lower the key. And Howard was like, this is high. Well, that's not quite what Howard said, but basically he was saying this is high.
And you know, next time, about a year, maybe about a year later, when he started doing shows, he was doing shows again, and I think we were playing in either Atlanta or Florida. I can't remember, but that was the first time I'd seen him since he had the heart attack and since we did the song. And man, I told him, I said, boy, I was cussing you out the whole time I was learning that song. And he was cracking up, man. They said, yeah, man, you know, you got to come correct. You know how you talk, man. But see, there are two vocalists. You know, I've been singing since I was 10, right? So I've listened to Stevie, I've listened to Marvin, I've listened to Donny Hathaway, all those people, everybody. But there's only two vocalists that were really instrumental on you know, you going to another plateau in your journey. You know what I'm saying? And one was Jeffrey Osborne, with Love Ballad, and the other was Peebo. When I got the gig for Shalimar, I got the offer to join Shalimar, and I had to go over to Dick Griffey's house and he lived in Baldwin Hills at that time. And I'm sitting in his TV room, and I'm watching a videotape of a Shalimar show because I got the offer the day before, right? And so like it's like I'm sitting there, and the videotape goes off, and then Dick comes back down and he says, "Okay, sing something. You know, Jeffrey and Jody say you're a great singer. Sing something." And I'm like, "Sing something? Just a cappella? Just right here? Just sing something." So I said, "Well, Lord, me and you, right?" And I broke into "Feel the Fire." Peebo's feeling something that you told me stayed in my head. It was much higher at that time, you know what I'm saying? But like I just got off a plane. Yeah, but and that's how I got the gig. That night I was on a plane to New Jersey to meet Jeffrey and Jody for the to join up with the group. So he was instrumental in, you know, without him even knowing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know him at that time. I'm so glad, and the last couple of days have been crazy because, you know, we lost Foster, you know, Foster Silvers, we lost Ron LePreed, and then, you know, I heard about Peebo, and it was like, oh, no. And that was before he had actually passed. And then yesterday was just crazy. But you have to look at, like you were saying, Regina, it's like, you know, we're absent from the body, we're to be in the presence of God.
Presence of God. Yes.
Presence of the Lord. And you've had, you know, your deep conversations with people rather. So we know what the deal is as far as that's concerned. So, you know, but we're going to miss him. People was a different kind of cat, man, you know, and I mean, just like Regina said, you know, he could just stand there and just blow blow, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and you just, you can't say enough as for his gift, the gift that he's had, that he has shared all these years. You know, you can't say enough.
Howard, I'm curious. So my favorite song of Peebo is Roland. I heard you talking about it earlier. Is You. And I'm so into you. So
I'm so into you,
my love. Everything is beautiful is you.
Yeah.
And he just killed that song. Oh my God, I love that song. What's your favorite Peebo song?
Feel the Fire. I mean, for so many different reasons. You know, it's like Yeah, Feel the Fire song. You know, just the story that it's telling, the melody of it kills me all the time. You know, it's like it's crazy. So yeah, I would have to say Feel the Fire. And the melody of if ever I'm in your arms again. I love that melody, that hook. You know what I'm saying? I mean that hook is just amazing. Amazing. So you know, but if I was gonna say the whole song, everything, the story, the melody, you know, the inflection as far as where he was going vocally, I mean, I would have to say Feel the Fire. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the duets he did with Natalie Cole, the duets he did with Roberta Flack.
Roberta
The
Flack,
one that I love with the one he did with Natalie Cole. We're the best of friends. We're the best of friends. Oh my gosh! I mean, it's so many Peebo songs. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Howard. Just
we're you know, like we say, he's gone. I mean, as far as like physically is concerned, but what he has left us is like, you know, is like crazy. It's crazy. And so, you know, we just, you know, we're here, we're left here, you know, after and you always look at, anytime you look at when this type of situation goes down, you look at your own mortality as well. You know what I'm saying? And just
hugely.
And just but then I started thinking, you know, I'm so blessed to have been, you know, in this, because we did, you know, we did the Minnesota tour for about 3 years. Me, Peebo, Jeff Osborne, and Freddie Jackson. And man, it was like we had a ball. We would always come. All four of us would come out, and when Jeffrey would do the woo woo song, and all of us would woo woo in our own way. You know what I'm saying? And so you know we had a ball with that. And so you know but I'm so blessed. You know, and we're all so blessed to be in the same era of Peebo Bryson, Prince, you know, Michael Jackson, you know, James Ingram. We could go on and on, man. You know, and just
we could.
And that's
Luther.
not something. That's not Luther. Oh, good help! Come on now, for real. And you know, you know, because you know, Luther and I used to do jingles and the commercials and all that stuff together, you know, back in the day as well.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know he did the jingles back in New York, back before he was, you know, Luther Vandross.
Well, I was told, I was told last night that Luther and Peebo were in Roberta Flack's band. That they were in the band. They were in her band together. And so
I knew Luther was. I didn't know Peebo was.
They were in it together.
Yeah, man.
And so what I was told is that they were friends, but they also had a friendly rivalry. And again, Luther sort of took it a certain way when Roberta would always have Peebo sing the Donny Hathaway parts to those songs. But you know, and again, you know, competitive rivalry is a good thing. So it is. But Howard, you said something about when we talk about mortality. Listen, this is what I say. The reality is this here. There are people. I always say you can be present or you can have presence. And the reality is there are people that have come through this world. They've left no fingerprints. They've left no footprints. When they pass away, nobody talks about them. Nobody remembers them. But the beauty of amazing music is that 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years later, people will still be talking about who is that, who's singing that song, and that's why it's important to have that presence, and you leave that mark that people will certainly remember. And so both of you, of course, have those fantastic memories. We appreciate your artistry in what you do, and we pray that y'all are able to do it as long as you can. to entertain the fans, but also use the gifts that God has given both of you.
Thank you, Ro.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
man.
you.
I certainly appreciate it. And Howard, Howard, I appreciate you joining us. You flew across the country and hopped on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But go ahead, Howard. Go ahead.
No, I was saying we appreciate you as well, especially in the climate that we're in as far as this country is concerned. We need truth yellers. You know what I'm saying? I just made that word up. I just made that word, truth yellers. And you're one of the truth yellers out there, man.
Well, I appreciate that. And, one of the reasons, it'll be 8 years in September creating this show, 4 years creating the network. And one of the reasons for that is for moments like this. And because for me, what often happens is when our greats pass away, we celebrated Clarence Jones, Dr. King's attorney, a week or so ago. When oftentimes, I remember even when Cicely Tyson and Sidney Poitier passed away, if you looked at mainstream media, you did not see much about them. And so what I always say, and so I always say, but because by being able to own the show, control the show, we have the ability to do what I call our own homegoing, our own celebrations, and give our folk their just due. And with digital media, this lasts forever. And so there are people who still go back and look at some of these tribute shows that we did 6, 7, 8 years ago, or even when I was at TV One 10, 12 years ago. And so that's why it's also important to have Black-owned media, because this is not where it's like, okay, well, mention Peebo for 60 seconds, 90 seconds. No, we could do an hour. We can do a second day or third day if we want to. And once we get arrangements from the family, if his funeral memorial service is public, we also will be streaming it on the network as well. Because again, that's why it's important to own as opposed to asking somebody else for permission.
Yes. And
so
thank
we certainly
you.
appreciate
Thank you, Ro, for
both of you.
all that you do. Thank you for all that you do, and not just the celebration of our loved ones, but as Howard said, just in the truth telling of where we are socially, economically, and even culturally. It means the world to know somebody's not afraid to keep our people aware and alert of where we are so that we can make moves to go where we need to go next. So I appreciate you. Thank you for letting us roll with you.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And all right, Regina Bell, Howard Hewitt, thank you so very much for the celebrating the life of Peebo Bryson.
God bless.
Folks, before we go, Jeffrey Osborne, he had commitments, but my man Jeff wanted to send us this video.
This is Jeffrey Osborne. I guess I should announce myself. But anyway, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this tribute show to Peebo Bryson. I don't think anyone is more deserving. I'm kind of choked up a little bit. I've known Peebo since 1970, I guess 77, 78. I was in LTD and we were doing shows across the country, and Peebo was on some of those shows, so I got the chance to meet him then, and I was marveled at this guy, this voice. I'm like, he was amazing, so I think I've done probably more shows with Peebo than anybody. It started back then when I was still in LTD, and then we became like a package at one time. It was myself and Peebo, and we did a lot of dates together, and then we branched off and we did Men of Soul. We did the Men of Soul tour for maybe 3 years. About 3 years. And so I really got a chance to be close to him and talk to him and get knowledge from him. And we shared a lot together. Then we did Colors of Christmas, which was a Christmas tour that went out every year, and me and Peebo were always a part of that. And then we did play together. We did a Raisin in the Sun, an adaptation of Raisin in the Sun together. And we were on a bus tour then. We were going from city to city. So I've done so many shows with Peebo. It's been hundreds of shows with Peebo. He's truly my brother. I was saddened when I first heard about it. I'm still saddened. I just did a show with him 2 weeks ago, May 22nd to be exact. We were in Fayetteville, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. And I think what hurts me more is that we didn't get a chance to actually talk to one another on that show. And we always do. Well, usually our dressing rooms are right next to one another. But in this particular building, I was on the first floor. He was on the third floor. And he opened and I came. I must have got there maybe 2 songs into his set. And I went out and watched his set. And I went back and I got ready. And, you know, he went from the stage to the third floor and we missed each other. And I never got a chance to speak to him. And you know, I dwell on that now because I wish we had a chance to have at least had that talk back a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, he's a classic voice, a true first tenor, you know, and I was always like, you know, first tenors, I was like, I always wished I was a first tenor. You know, I'm like a second tenor, a pseudo baritone, but those first tenors, you know, he could just hit that high B and that C, and I was always like, wow, I wish I could soar like that. You know, and we had different styles, but we were the same in that we sang a lot of love songs. So if you came to one of our concerts, you got a chance to have a really romantic type of evening. And I have to say, I miss this guy. I'm going to miss him. My prayers go out to his family. He has a young son who's 8 years old. And actually, he actually featured his son on the show we did on May 22nd. His son came out and he did some Michael Jackson stuff. He was dressed up like Michael and he was dancing like Michael, and it was really pretty cool. So anyway, I just wish I was here, or there, if I should say, here for your whole show or the whole segment. Unfortunately, I have another engagement that I have to go to, but I did not want to, you know, not be a part of it because people meant that much to me. And I'm really going to miss him, man. I go all the way back to his very first album, the I'm So Into You, you know, it's classic songs, you know, that's amazing. You know, I'm So Into You, Tonight I Celebrate. The stuff he did with Roberta Flack was amazing. Then he had those big Disney hits, Beauty and the Beast and A Whole New World. And I mean, I go all the way back to Reaching for the Sky. I mean, just so many hit records, such a iconic, classic voice, very identifiable. You knew him as soon as you heard this voice, you knew it was Peebo. And I think that's what separates people like him, you know, from just, you know, the average singer. He was amazing, man. That's all I can say is I'm happy that I got to share so many great moments. We discussed music. We talked about everything. Beautiful person, once in a lifetime voice. And I'm really sad. So, Roland, again, I want to thank you for taking time, you know, to do this tribute to Peebo. He's well deserving, and you're incredible, man. You make sure that you are always there for us, and I really appreciate that, man. All right, I'm gonna sign off right now, but just know that this brother is really special to me. He will always be special to me. I don't want to even put him in the past tense because he lives here in my heart. And thank you again.
And I want to thank my good buddy, Jeffrey Osborne. I play in his golf tournament every year. He's amazing. I'm always there for him, and I appreciate him taking the time to share his thoughts and reflections about the late, great Peebo Bryson with our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. And as I said, folks, this is why we do what we do, because this is about centering African Americans, centering our people, telling our story. There are a number of things that happen in this world that folks cover. So in, you know, mainstream media, when they decide to put their attention on it, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of stories that they do not tell, that they do not speak about, that they do not share information about. And this is why we do what we do. To have Chris Walker and Regina Bell and Gerald Albright and Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Osborne. And we've reached out to so many other folks as well. You know, Stephanie Mills wanted to come on but was unable to do so. And so we'll try to get her on later. And there are others, Eric Benet and Jimmy Jam and others as well we've reached out to. And we're going to keep doing it. And as I said, once we find out about funeral arrangements, the family lets us know. And if it's public, we absolutely will be streaming it on the network as well. Because I think about when Richard Smallwood passed away, same thing. Mainstream media did nothing for Richard Smallwood, but for us, we know what his music absolutely meant. And so I just think it's important for us to understand that and remember that. And this is also why we want you to support this show. This is why we want you to download our app. This is why we want you to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Because, y'all, we don't want to, listen, MS Now, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all these networks, they ain't sitting here telling these stories. They're not having these voices on. And so when we have our own platform, our own show, and this is why I don't do that bullshit gossip. I was talking to somebody and they were asking me about, hey man, when are you going to talk about the Kevin Hart roast on your show? I was like, y'all, I said, I'm not dealing with that. I said, they asked me, man, are you going to share your thoughts on Cheyenne Bryant? Is she a doctor? I said, I don't give a shit about that. And it's so many things that happen. And I'm like, listen, if other shows want to deal with that, that's fine. And I know we can get clicks and all this sort of stuff, but I know what matters. How you doing? I know what matters to our people. I know the stories that we have to tell. And there's some stuff that, frankly, I'm not going to waste any energy on because we don't have the time for it. And so we're going to do what we do. But we want you to support the work that we do. Please join our Bring the Funk fan club. Again, if 20,000 folks assist us, it helps defray our cost. And, you know, you got these people sitting here running their mouths. Oh, see, there you go, begging for money. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're gonna rule the day. You're going to rule the day. You don't have black-owned media. How you doing? All good. You're going to rule the day. I mean, again, I'm here in Chicago. It'll be midnight when the embargo is lifted for us to share the information that we heard today about the Obama Presidential Center, which will be opening on Juneteenth. So we'll have it on tomorrow's show. But I want everybody to understand something. I remember when a black celebrity passed away, you were looking forward to that special issue of Jet magazine. Jet don't exist anymore. You were looking forward to that special magazine, that special edition, and you were going to have it a keepsake of Ebony magazine. Ebony ain't what it used to be. Same thing with Essence. When John H. Johnson died, we put out a special edition of the Chicago Defender. You're not seeing that today. And I'm telling y'all, I know this in my bones. We are going to rule the day when we look up and we don't have black-owned media. When we got stuff, when you don't have shows doing tributes like this here, we gonna look up one day and go, man, who's covering our stuff? So we have to support in this moment, in this anti-DEI space, when these advertisers are not putting money into our products, we are going to have to fund our products. We got no choice. And then when our black-owned media dies, and then people go, oh my God, what happened? Then a lot of us are going to have to look into the mirror. So support what we do, folks. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Again, our goals, our ask is simple. We keep our content free. We don't charge people. We don't put stuff behind a paywall. I'm not telling you to go to Patreon. Go to Substack. We got a Substack. Ours is free. So subscribe to our Substack. But join our Bring the Funk fan club. Please do that. And so if you want to contribute via Cash App, you see the QR code right here on the screen. Use that QR code. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com for the QR code. Click the Cash App button to contribute. Checks in money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. When you see New Vision Media, don't get afraid. That is us. That's our parent company, NU Vision, VISION Media, Inc. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag. by going to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Shopblackstarnetwork.com to get our hats and T-shirts. Also, support all the Black-owned businesses that we have at shopblackstarnetwork.com. When you buy the products from shopblackstarnetwork.com, you're also supporting this show. So let's also support our Black-owned companies. Go to all those products you see in our studio. Those are all Black-owned companies in our marketplace on blackstarnetwork.com. Be sure to download the app Fan Base. Follow me at Roland S. Martin. Let's build up that Black-owned social media platform. Don't forget, folks, go to blackstarnetwork.com. Click Bishop William Barber's story. So if you want to be trained into organizing and mobilizing, I want us to get 2,000 people. We're more than 1,200 right now. It's going to take place virtually June 12th and 13th. So simply go to blackstarnetwork.com and click that story. Folks, that's it. I got to go. Got to pack it up, head back to the airport, and then I will be back in the studio tomorrow where we'll give you a preview of the Obama Presidential Center, which will be open to the public on Juneteenth in a couple of weeks. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered, on the Black Star Network. Holla!